Hello and welcome to the pre-market update from Nirmal Bank. I am Yural Desai. Clearly, 4 consecutive sessions where the benchmark indices have ended in the negative, and clearly the investors have continued to feel the kind of jitters from the impact of coronavirus outbreak. Plus, if you go to see, the global markets have been slightly volatile as well, so that is having an impact as well. And if in terms of where Moody's is concerned, they have gone ahead and reduced the growth outlook for India. So these have been few of the reasons that we have been watching out for. Yesterday's session overall, if you go to see, Nifty recouped substantial losses in the last hour of trade, and this is to close off the day's lows as concerns did mount. You did have Apple who came out and issued a revenue warning, and HSBC earnings that missed estimates on the global front. Clearly, if you see in terms of global markets, today's session, now Dow has fallen for a third straight day. In fact, it's dropped almost around 165 points, whereas S&P 500 dipped by almost 0.3%. Nasdaq has eked out a small gain to post a record high closing. European stocks again, they did see an impact of Apple warning on the back of the revenue hit that they could see on the back of coronavirus. If you see in terms of morning session, Asian markets have hedged higher, and the investors are now monitoring China's return to production. Overall, if you see the offshore yuan, that has weakened past the 7 level again. So clearly, we will be watching out for as to how Asian markets continue in trade, because that's something that could be having a bearing on the Indian markets. Crude as well has settled pretty much unchanged in overnight trade, and it actually pared the early losses as well. In terms of the precious metals update, if you go to see, gold is again back above that $1,600 per ounce mark. So that's an important one to watch out for. Palladium also has notched an all-time high, whereas silver is up around 2.5%, whereas platinum ended 2.5% higher. On the back of the FI and DI activity, if you see those numbers, FIs have continued to remain sellers because the quantum has gone down. It's come down to double digits. Around 70 to 75 odd crores is what the FIs have sold in the domestic market, and the DIIs also have continued to remain sellers. However, the number of the DIIs has been way higher at almost a little over 300 odd crores. In terms of SGX Nifty, that's also indicating a slightly positive start in trade today, and there is a possibility that we could be starting above that 12,000 level. That's the indication that we're getting from SGX Nifty. There is a possibility that Nifty may continue its pullback rally that we had seen in the last hour of trade, and the pullback could be seen to levels of almost 12,040 to 12,070, and this is as long as we are able to sustain above that 11,970 mark. Overall, Bank Nifty as well, we are seeing key resistance at 30,800 as well as 30,970, whereas support is seen at almost 30,370 and 30,140. The performance of Bank Nifty is also going to be crucial, because this is one of the components that has been contributing to the kind of losses that we are seeing in the market. So this is the financial space that has continued to remain weak, and this is again on the back of the AGR issue, wherein we are seeing weakness in the telecom space as well. Overall, if you see the FNOQs, Nifty February futures closed at almost around 12,019, which is a premium of around 27 points. And if you see the bank Feb futures, they closed at almost 30,625, which is a premium of almost around 63 points. So overall, in terms of Nifty, maximum open interest is seen at around 12,100 to on the call side, and at 11,900 on the put side. So this could be a broad range that we should be watching out for in trade. Overall, on the back of, if you see on the FNO side, a couple of stocks also that will be in focus on the back of the open interest addition, because a couple of counters that did see a high delivery percentage shows that there is some bit of investor confidence there. So companies like Power Grid, HCL Tech, HDFC Bank, Ambuja Cement, NTPC, as well as Petronet, to name a few. Long build-up seen on counters like SRF, IGL, Tata Global, TVS Motors, IOC, Escorts, as well as MGL. If you talk about unwinding, that was seen on counters like Bajaj Auto, JSW Steel, Titan, Torrent Power, Torrent Pharma, as well as an ICICI Bank. and short build-up seen on companies like Yes Bank, Apollo Tyres, Federal Bank, HPCL and an RBL Bank. Let's quickly see which are the stocks that could be reacting to news in today's session. Firstly, you have RIL, second consecutive session where the stock remains in focus. In fact, they are in talks to sell a minority stake in its oil to chemical division to Saudi Aramco, and this is what we have been picking up from Bloomberg. City Network in focus as well. You have Brickwork Ratings that has gone ahead and downgraded the company's long-term bank loan facility, and this is on the back of the delay that they've seen in debt repayments. Avenue Supermart, the promoters have sold shares in public via OFS, so watch out for this one in trade. Infosys has secured a multi-year deal from GE Appliances, so on the back of an order win, Infosys remains in focus. And from the IT space, you have HCL Tech as well, where they've received an order from Stanley Black & Decker for digital services. Apart from these IT majors, you have Shree Cement and Yes Bank. Both will be in focus. Shree Cement will be replacing Yes Bank in Nifty 50 from the 27th of March. So see some bit of action on both these counters. Balkrishna Industries continues to be in focus. HDFC Mutual Fund has sold around 2% stake in the company. Tata Chemicals, Tata Coffee, Tata Global Beverages also remain in focus in today's session. So not many newsmakers that we will be watching out for, but depending on the kind of action that we see on the technical side, that's going to be crucial, and how global markets continue to trade in in today's session, because the macros are something that are having an impact. So again, to be noted that 12,000 is the psychological mark that we need to watch out for on Nifty 50. That's all that we have in the pre-market update. You could subscribe to the Nirmal Bank channel to get more updates during the day, and you could follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. Thanks for watching.